Dozens of protesters were arrested at UC San Diego today, with most being transported to the downtown jail to go through the booking process. Just moments ago, we were there as some of those protesters were released. Good evening, I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. CBS 8 has been on the scene at UC San Diego since sunrise today, when a large police presence first moved in on campus. Right now, we have team coverage of this breaking news. David Goffredson has more on the protesters who were arrested, and Anna Laurel is on campus following the latest developments. Let's check in with David first.
Things have calmed down quite a bit at the Central Jail since earlier today, although there still are a couple dozen protesters across the street waiting on the corner over there for their fellow students who were arrested to be released from jail through this door right here. Can you tell me what they're charging you with? The protesters are already being released from jail hours after being arrested at UCSD. This student did not want to speak on camera as he was overjoyed at being released from jail. About 200 demonstrators showed up Monday afternoon at the Central Jail demanding the arrested students be released.
Students were arrested and detained because they were peacefully protesting the genocide happening in Gaza.
The university says about 2/3 of the people arrested were students, and they will be placed on an immediate interim suspension pending an investigation. The arrestees were transported to the downtown jail in a large sheriff's department bus and a handful of smaller vans. The sheriff's department says the protesters were arrested on charges of misdemeanor unlawful assembly, and they will be booked and released with a court date. The glass windows and doors at the entrance of the downtown jail were boarded up Monday morning in anticipation of the arrests and demonstrations. By the afternoon, demonstrators had gathered at the jail. Imam Taha Hussein is the advisor for the UCSD Muslim Student Association. He was on campus when the arrests went down.
They pulled up their guns in front of peaceful, unarmed, innocent students. And when I challenged them why they did so, when I asked them to put their guns away, they pepper sprayed me in my eyes and in my face. This is not acceptable.
Now, late this afternoon, UCSD released a statement saying the encampments were a safety risk to the campus. They found a propane tank in one. They say they found a sword in another. And protesters were warned they would be arrested before police moved in.
David, how much time are these students and other people arrested facing if convicted of unlawful assembly?
Well, misdemeanor charges typically have a maximum of a year in jail, but none of these students are likely to get any jail time. In fact, they're being released from jail without having to post bond, and they maybe could get some probation. But they have a future court date, and we're going to have to see what happens.
David Goffredson reporting live from downtown. Students from UC San Diego who are arrested being released as we speak. Thanks, David. Now, according to a new statement from UC San Diego's chancellor, before any arrests were made, demonstrators were given repeated opportunity to disperse.
And once word spread that law enforcement was taking down the encampment, a crowd of demonstrators came to support and continue that protest. CBS 8's Anna Laurel joins us now from campus. Anna, the school saw 64 arrests and hundreds of law enforcement officers. What happened out there?
You know what, Marcella, it was a wildly different scene this morning than it is out here right now. Take a look behind me. This is where that Gaza Solidarity encampment was. Totally gone right now, and these barricades are up. But again, a very different scene than this morning.
The face-off between San Diego County Sheriff's Highway Patrol and UCSD campus police intensified as pro-Palestinian protesters tried to block buses carrying the 64 people officers arrested early this morning. The morning on campus started like this. Around 6 a.m., officers moved into the encampment and started arresting people asleep in their tents. The encampment that started last Wednesday was torn down and taken away. Yesterday, UCSD Chancellor Pradeep Khosla called the encampment illegal and said it posed an unacceptable safety and security hazard. Hours later, it's gone.
The encampment was in a grassed area that was off the walkway. However, now with police presence, it has blocked all the walkways, all the driveways are closed, classes have been canceled. And I think the disruption has been very, very sharply magnified by the law enforcement presence and the administration.
Officers in riot gear faced protesters outside the encampment and stood on rooftops, and the crowd grew.
We're out here to represent for Palestine and to protest against the genocide currently being perpetrated by Israel in Gaza.
As officers led arrested demonstrators away, the crowd followed them.
Right now, we need the UC system to have a dialogue with us. We need the UC system to meet our demand. We need them to divest.
Protesters say they want the university to cut all financial ties with Israel and any companies doing business with Israel. By 10 o'clock, demonstrators blocked buses carrying those arrested. Tensions escalated.
They pepper sprayed Sheikh Taha.
Once the buses were able to leave, the crowd dispersed, saying they would follow them to county jails.
It made me rethink, what side of history are we on? This is the hardest university to get into in San Diego, and we're arresting our students.
You saw the video, even in David's story earlier, of the man, the imam, that they were rinsing his face because they believe that he was pepper sprayed. I reached out to CHP and the university. They have yet to confirm if officers did actually use pepper spray on demonstrators out here. At UCSD, this is Anna Laurel for CBS 8.
Anna, not just a different scene from very early this morning, but different from last Friday night when you were out there. Police were at the encampment then. No arrests were made, and the encampment was allowed to stay through the weekend. Do you know, was there some kind of trigger that caused the campus to move forward, getting law enforcement involved today and seeing that encampment cleared out and all those arrests?
Yeah, that's what we were trying to figure out when we came out here, Carlo. According to the chancellor, he said that, and like David said, it's based on danger arising in terms of health, fire, safety, and security. And he gave you that list of things that they found in the encampment that they said was a hazard to the general public. But the chancellor also released a statement yesterday, and he actually gave more detail, something about he was having the school was having some kind of trouble dealing with the liaisons with the student group organizations who were leading the protests in the encampment. We put the full statement on our website at cbs8.com so you can read that for yourself.
All right, very busy morning. Lots of tension out there, but tonight looks calm. Thanks so much for that live report, Anna.